lunchtime whistle and the morning's finally done. I'm jumping in my car, I'm gonna have a little fun. The Doghouse Network's on my radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. If you're listening to another station I don't understand, 'cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
Give us a call, Steve.
He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the Junkyard Dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
It must be a Wednesday. I called it hump day.
Yeah, baby. Uh-oh. Guess what day it is?
It's Wings
Guess
Wednesday.
what day it is?
Hump day.
Huh?
It's hump day.
Anybody? Mike. What day is it, Mike? Let's guess what today is.
It's hump day.
The Doghouse. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to a Wings Wednesday in the Doghouse. Grizz is in the kitchen. He's back there right now, tossing them wings and sauteing them a little bit, baking them a little bit. Both the wing pieces and the leg pieces. You know what I mean? You got to have both of those pieces over there. He's got some boneless ones, too, which I'm a big fan of them boneless wings. He's got those over there. Little Baumhauer's Wings Wednesday here in the Doghouse. Now, round 2 of the playoff poll came out last night. We nailed the top 4. Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, and TCU. We also had UT at 5, Oregon at 6, and LSU at 7. Okay? So we had the top 7 nailed. Now, I had UCLA at 8 and Alabama at 9. The committee liked USC at 8 and the Tide at 9. They put UCLA down at 12. I had Clemson at 12. They had them at 10, and we both had Ole Miss at 11. Now, the reason that I have UCLA instead of USC is because Tom Luganville has seen both teams up close. And he's smarter than I am, and he's smarter than most of those people on that committee. And I bet they haven't stood on the sidelines and watched those two teams play. Lugs has. He says that UCLA is better. So I'm going with my boy, Tom Luganville. I do research. I'm going with Lugs because UCLA plays defense, and USC's defense is horrible. In any event, look, I'm just some knucklehead talk show host. And I pretty much nailed the playoff top 10. Think about all of the money that was spent flying these people to Dallas, putting them up in fancy hotels. Yeah, I mean, they're not out there staying at the Motel 6 on Highway 47. And in the end, none of this matters right now. We don't have the NCAA selection committee giving us weekly rankings for a month before the March Madness. Well, really, what's the point of this? For us to be doing this and talking about it? I mean, give us one with 4 weeks to go if you'd like, just to kind of slot everybody. Okay, we've seen 2/3 of the season. We're going to go ahead and this is the way we're thinking. See you in December. If you want to do that, that's fine. But with so many big games to come, this is all just folly. I mean, come on, putting Tennessee number 1 the week before they play Georgia. A waste of time. Look, TCU is 4 right now. Okay, they're 4 right now. But right now, doesn't matter. They're a 7-point underdog at Texas this week. My God. Then they go to Baylor. Not to mention Michigan and Ohio State have that little game that they play coming up in about 3 weeks. So, yes, it has its talking, but really, where's the sense in it? If you know what you want to talk about, phone lines are open. 256-56. I'm not telling you don't talk about it. I'm just saying, I mean, really? Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU, Tennessee, Oregon. In the final 4 spots, I'm going to go LSU 7,
UCLA 8, Alabama 9, USC 10, Ole Miss 11, Clemson 12. You're like, dog, Ole Miss only has one loss in the SEC. How can you put Alabama's an 11.5-point favorite right now?
I mean, almost nailed it. Almost nailed it. I'm a schlock over here, sitting over here doing my radio show. I got my Bubby's Burgers mug here. I'm having my coffee right now. I decided that this was the time to have my afternoon coffee. I've already had my Wings Wednesday lunch. I'm having my coffee. I'm just some schmuck. How much are they paying me to go to Dallas and fly in and fly out and stay at the Hotel 6 or Motel 6 or whatever they... Do they got like hourly rates at the hotel they stay at, you think? I'm just saying, okay? All right, phone lines are open, 256-576-4977. You can text the show, 732-9TA-SHOW, 732-982-7469. It's a great way to communicate with us. My Twitter feed, personally, is at Thom Abraham Show. The stations is at 97.7 ESPN, where you can watch the show. You can watch it on Facebook at 97.7 ESPN. You can watch it on Twitch and on YouTube at WZZN TV. Follow on the Twitch. Like and subscribe on the YouTube. Get the notifications. Go to 97.7 ESPN. Get links to all of that stuff. And while you're at it, get our apps. The Zone app and the Blitz app. Then you also get links to Zone 2 and Zone 3 and Zone 4 as well. All our alternate streaming channels. I mean, come on. Friday night. Goodness gracious almighty. We're going to have Randolph playing Dora out in the middle of God's country in the 4A playoffs after winning last week. Austin Coletti and Drew DeArmond will have that on the air and on our primary feed. On Zone 2, Madison Academy has Sylvania in the 3A playoffs with Steve and Glenn on that game. Zone 3 will have a UAH basketball game. Zone 4 will have the Tide playing Hugh Freeze and Liberty. Oh, wait, does Hugh Freeze not the coach of the basketball team, too? I mean, it's Liberty. They're not real big. Isn't a football coach or basketball coach? Maybe not. Then we'll have the final Woody Anderson Ford North Alabama scoreboard show with Scott Tyson. And that'll be coming up right after the Randolph game on the air. Now, coming up in a few minutes, Joey Blackwell will be joining us from Bama Online as the Tide's dynasty is clearly over now. I mean, just ask Paul Feinbaum. Look, Alabama is barely bowl eligible, you know what I mean? I mean, maybe they'll get like the Birmingham Bowl or something like that. Can they get to 8 or 9 wins so you can get to Nashville? I mean, you know, the TransPerfect Music City Bowl, you got to have at least probably 8 wins. I don't know if they can get there. Look, they haven't been in the playoff in, over 10 months now since they've made the college football playoff. Look, it's been almost 2 years since they were a national champion. It's been almost 2 years. I mean, come on. Let's be honest, right? I mean, they've only won 2 national championships now in the last 4 years. I mean, come on. They missed the playoffs this year. That means they've missed 2 playoffs. There's only, there's been 9, and they missed 2 of them. How could they, they're done. They're toast. Recruiting is terrible. What are they? Well, number 1. But, I'm sure all of those kids are leaving. None of those kids are going to stay at Alabama. The Nick Saban dynasty is over. There's Alabama. They're terrible. I mean, they get beat by 2-3 points at Tennessee. They get beat by a 2-point conversion at LSU. I mean, my God, they're getting killed. You're destroyed. They're blown out by 1, 3. Now, see, if you were watching the show on WZZN TV, you would see the tongue placed firmly in the cheek. All right. Okay, good. At the top of the one, Monday Night Football and the SEC on CBS will join us. Of course, he was in Athens, Tennessee's Law, Georgia. This week he'll be in Oxford, where, Ole Miss probably destroy Alabama. I mean, 10, 11 point blown out. The dynasty's over. They'll get blown out. Facts. Facts are stubborn things. I always say it. Yesterday, Major League Baseball announced that Trash Pandas manager Andy Schatzley was named the Southern League Manager of the Year, and closer Eric Torres was named to the Southern League All-Star team as the league's best reliever. Congrats to Andy and Eric. Of course, as we know, Andy is a big fan of the show.
In the world of radio intros, that's the first time I've heard it, and I can't imagine that there are 3 better national radio intros than that one.
No. Are you kidding me? 3? No. We're a fan of Andy's as well. Second season as a professional manager, Schatzley guided the Trash Pandas to an 81-57 record. Won both the first and second half division championships. Unfortunately, did not finish it off with a championship, but they did the first and second half division championship. Of course, it was election day yesterday. And in a key Senate race in Georgia, it looks like there's going to be a runoff between the Democrat, Raphael Warnock, and Republican Herschel Walker. I'm not sure that I want to be in a runoff with Herschel. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe a pass-off or something, but a runoff with one of the greatest runners in SEC history? I mean, Herschel's like a runoff. What, are you kidding me? I'll run that dude right over. It's a runoff. And in California, the general public overwhelmingly voted down legalized gambling. Of course they did. The public always is going to vote down legalized because it's not the, 20%, 15% of the public bet on sports? Of course they're going to vote it down. It doesn't mean that that you still don't take care. You know what they would vote down? Smoking. You know what I mean? They would vote that if they put it to a vote and they said, should there be alcohol? They would vote that down because more people don't drink than do drink. Of course they voted down legalized gambling. Public always will do that. So they're going to continue with illegal gambling in California. Kelly, gotta love them. That's not the kind of thing you put before the people. You have enough. You have hundreds of millions of dollars illegally being bet in California. So it's up to the law to say, okay, we're going to legalize it so that we can tax it and so that we can regulate it. Duh. There's only 10, 15% of the people that, maybe not even that many, that vote. I mean, God forbid they let the people vote on other things like, rights for certain people and so on and so on. I mean, it would be terrible. It'd be awful. You can't let the majority rule on things like that. You know what I mean? All right, let's have a vote on the 70-mile-an-hour speed limit. Do you think it should be 70 or should it be 100? All right, we'll vote. What the hell? You don't let the public vote on that. All right, we're going to have the public vote on whether or not you got to wear a seatbelt. All right, public, what do you think? You got to wear a seatbelt? No, I don't want to wear a stupid seatbelt. Well, we're going to make you wear a seatbelt. All right, over there in that little glass room playing the Platters That Matter and the Stacks of Wax, finally coming out of the kitchen with his apron on. Making up those wings. He's doing a great job. Keeping us on the air. Playing the Platters That Matter and the Stacks of Wax, answering your phones. It's Coach Chris.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. That Tom. Hey, Tom.
Testosterone high today. Testosterone, whatever the
It really doesn't matter what you think. All right? It really doesn't matter what you say.
Any of you play sports?
So, Chris, how do you like your wings? Are you a hot wing guy, a medium, a mild, in bone, or boneless?
Okay, so well, first of all, let's just get this straight, and you can call in too, and literally debate this all you want, because boneless is not a wing. No, it is a chicken nugget. It's a big chicken nugget. Like the wangs at Baumhauer's are great. Don't get me wrong, like those are great. But like
chicken lips,
yeah, like
chicken lips.
Those are just huge chicken tenders. You know what I mean? Like,
but I wonder. We need to know from somebody who knows: is a boneless wing? Where does the meat come? Well, where does the meat come from? Is it come from? Because a wing is dark meat, right? I mean, let's call it the way it is. A wing is dark meat, whereas a boneless wing is usually light meat. So we need somebody to let us know, that somebody that's working at one of these. Don't make me call Baumhauer and ask him. But I mean, where does the meat in a boneless wing come from? Okay, so on the do you like boneless, or do you like them? Because I like them both.
I like bone.
Do you like them with the bones?
Either or, doesn't matter. Flats or drums, it's fine.
So the flats. Wait a minute, you got one's got to be better than the other. You can't have it like.
I like flats, I guess.
All right, so flats. If you can only have it, be flat.
I like flats.
Now, do you break the flat apart and then eat it, or do you just eat it the way it is? Right? Do you eventually pull the two bones apart so that you can get that meat out of the middle, or do you use your tongue and like press down on the middle to get the meat off of the bone?
I go at it like an animal. I like hot too. I do like hot. I do like some kind of like honey mustard or something in them too, or I do like I don't like them too hot.
I don't like them hot.
Yeah, I don't like them too hot, but I like them to counteract with a little bit of honey mustard in it too, because it kind of like gives a little sweetness. Yeah. But I dump it in obviously a huge thing of ranch, and then
even with the coating on it.
Yeah, I go to town.
You see, I don't understand it. Like if you get like teriyaki wings or garlic Parmesan wings or hot wings, then sticking them in something else makes no sense to me. The only time I ever dip my wing
when you've already eaten
is if I get a naked wing. You know what I mean? You ever get them naked? I like them naked. I like them no sauce. Yeah. Then I dip them in something. You know what I mean? I'll do that. Dip them in a honey mustard or dip them in a ranch. But if I got stuff on my wing and I really, really like, my mouth is watering right now talking about this. I really, really like a garlic Parmesan wing. You ever had garlic Parmesan?
Yes. I used to work at a place called Flyboys around here, and it used to be Guthrie's, of course. And we used to make some sweet little we would throw up some stuff back in the back a couple days.
I'm gonna find out
where we'd throw some stuff around.
I'm gonna find out where the meat comes from that they make a boneless wing from. Okay, because it's Wings Wednesday, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna. Hey, I'll. He's an all-time Alabama great, top 100. Retired from the NFL as the highest-paid defensive lineman in the NFL. Yeah. Bob Baumhauer.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Close friend. I'll text him right now. I mean, we get to the commercial break.
He might be.
I'll ask him. All right, Grizz. 61 minutes and 38 seconds. All right. What did I do for 61 minutes and 31 seconds? No, I did. That wasn't it.
God, I don't even want to picture that, and I hope nobody on the radio heard that picture.
61 minutes and 38 seconds. 1 hour, 1 minute, and 38 seconds. That's how long it took me to call India and schedule an Xfinity Comcast tech to come out and tighten up the aerial drop that goes from the pole out back to our guest house. I noticed it yesterday, right? And when I got home from the shop, from the station.
Yeah.
I noticed yesterday I got out and I looked over there and I'm like, wait a minute, the drop, and it's probably 200 feet.
Yeah.
The drop from the pole to the guest house was sagging all the way down to the point where it was like 3 or 4 feet off. It was sitting me in my chest. It was all the way down to the ground almost.
Yeah.
All right. But as far as I know, the internet and TV was still working in the guest house. The drop had somehow fallen down. And then I think
I think the cement truck might have clipped it when he was
Probably.
pouring concrete for the barns.
Don't tell
Anyway,
them that.
I don't know what happened.
Don't
I have
tell
no
them that.
idea what happened. No, I don't know what happened. So anyway, I call. Xfinity has to be the worst customer service company on the planet.
You're just now
I
finding
mean,
this?
I had to go through all of these prompts. Agent. I had to go through like 9 prompts to get to a human being. I finally get this guy on, and it's either a convenience store or it's Xfinity. All right, so I get this guy on from India, clearly, and he's talking. Maybe he's Pakistan. I don't know who I'm talking to. I just want to talk to a guy in Tennessee. You know what I mean? Or even Alabama, or somebody down and somebody in the SEC. I'm talking to some dude in Pakistan, right? And he's like, "You want cancellation?" I go, "No." I got a drop that needs to be repaired. So he goes into, let me transfer you to technical. They can't transfer me to technical. I wait and I wait and I wait and I wait 17 minutes. Then now he comes back on. He goes, well, I can take the information, he says in his broken India language. I can take the information. Are you a emergency responder? Oh, no, I'm the homeowner. What's your phone number? I had already given it to him 3 times. I said, it's the same as it was 5 minutes ago. Give him the phone. I don't want to be that guy, but I turned into that guy.
Can't get mad.
I knew you can't.
Especially your
hang
heart.
up on me.
Especially your heart.
In my heart, yeah. So he says, is it laying across the street? I said, no, I told you. It's from the pole to the house across the grass. Is it laying on top of a car? I said, no, I told you. It's from the pole to the house across the grass. Is it a trip hazard? I said, well, yeah, if you walk over there, you're liable to trip on it. Going into all of this stuff puts me on hold again. I'm just shortening it up. Now I'm 38 minutes into the call. All of a sudden, I get another lady from another part of India. She comes on and she says, I understand you're having a problem with your internet service.
Boom.
Like, what?
Went backwards.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
Went backwards.
I said, I got a drop. I need a technician to come out here and tighten the line up. Now I'm 41 minutes into the call. Let me transfer you to technical. I'm like, just don't cut me off, will you? Because I can't start all over again. So 3, 4, 5 minutes on hold. Not even music. So I don't even know if I'm connected. Another lady comes on. This one is from Vietnam or something. I don't know. And she starts talking to me. And right from the very beginning, can I have your phone number? Can I have the last 4 digits of your social security? I mean, I'm like, lady, I'm now 47 minutes into this call. Am I starting all over again?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm starting all over again.
With the person that has nothing to do with what you originally first called for.
No idea.
Or it's probably the boss and they don't know.
The most terrible, awful customer service of anyone. 61 minutes and 38 seconds. All right, that's when I got to the end of it. 61 minutes and 38 seconds is where I get to the end of it. And the lady says, Tuesday, today. Oh, good. My automatic payment processed. That's wonderful. The lady says to me, would you be willing to take a survey about our customer or about your experience?
Did you do it?
I said, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Abso-friggin-lutely. Wow, where's the survey? So she says, okay. Oh, here it is. Thanks for your feedback. So I said, yeah, I'll take the survey. All right, we'll email you about the survey. So then I get the survey, okay? They say, I get 2 texts that are the same thing. Xfinity here. Please provide feedback on your most recent experience with Xfinity. Think about your phone call with us. How would you like to recommend Xfinity to friends and family? Reply from 0, not at all, to likely 10 to extremely likely. So I answered 0. So then they say, we'd love to know more. Can you tell us a little bit about why you answered 0 as your likelihood to recommend Xfinity? So I answered 61 minutes, 3 different agents, long holds, answering same questions over and over again to simply schedule a text to tighten up an aerial drop that was sagging. Just terrible customer service. So disappointing. This is where I got back. I'm sorry, we do not recognize that response. Please re-enter your response as yes or no.
No.
I'm like, wait a minute. I went back and you asked me a question. You asked me why I gave you a 0. I gave you an answer. And they say, give us a yes or no answer. And they sent that to me twice. So I responded, perfect example of your incompetence. And I got, thanks for your feedback. If you have any other questions about your service, just ask them here, and I'll get them the answers you need. I mean, worst company ever. I had to get that off my chest. I have no options. I got no options. I need the high-speed internet. I got no options. Now, let me get a break. When we come back, God, do I sound like a bitter old man. Joey Blackwell's next. Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, whether you want to believe it or not, the holidays are upon us. It is time to start thinking about the important things like, hey, what's on the menu this year? It is time to pre-order your honey glazed ham or turkey from Apple Lane. Let's get honey glazed for the holidays and make the holidays even sweeter with our award-winning banana pudding.
That's right.
Let us help make this year's holiday just so much easier. Apple Lane, come see us in Decatur, Alabama on the Beltline.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us, too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Hi, I'm Capri, and the little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe is the chicken. They actually put it on the grill, cooked it in the sauce. It's definitely a good grilled spicy sandwich.
Hey, I'm Michelle, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe is it's spicy and it's full of flavor. When you pair that with the Kale Crunch Salad, it's just good.
Order a grilled spicy deluxe sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Available for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Saturday, November 12th in Jasper, Alabama, just minutes from Lewis Smith Lake, prime riverfront property will be offered at a one-day liquidation sales event. Getting killed in the stock market? Buy something real, something you can enjoy with your family today. Buy waterfront. This RV-friendly gated community has great kayaking, fishing, and wildlife, along with a large community area for social gatherings. Estate-sized parcels from $29.9 and direct waterfront parcels from $79.9. Prime waterfront properties on rushing water in a gated, gorgeous setting. Individual RV sites with utility hookups, no time limit to build, minutes from shopping, hospitals, schools, and neighboring a beautiful country club. One-day liquidation sale November 12th. Estate-sized parcels from $29.9 or direct waterfront parcels from $79.9. Call or click 877bigview.com for more information and to schedule an appointment. Don't miss this amazing opportunity on estate-size or waterfront parcels. That's 877-BIG-VIEW. Call or click 877-BIGVIEW.com.
Did you know the state's top-ranked private school is here in Huntsville? What about one of the nation's few Orton Gillingham Academy accredited schools? At Randolph School, our experienced teachers and coaches challenge and nurture students as they prepare for college and life. Our pre-K through 12 school includes Greengate School at Randolph, serving students with dyslexia. Parents, we know that you are your child's biggest advocate, and we invite you to explore your education options. Schedule a tour at randolphschool.net.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. A little cooler across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee, but temperatures still above average, climbing into the low and mid 70s. Dropping into the lower 50s as we head into the overnight, early into your Thursday morning. Maybe a little more cloud cover across the area Thursday afternoon, but still going to be a nice warm day across the area. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 70s. Dropping into the upper 50s and lower 60s through the overnight, early into your Friday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
November in Alabama means one thing.
Alabama and this SEC football arch rival meet in the Iron Bowl.
The Iron Bowl.
What is Arkansas? No.
Listen for full coverage of the Iron Bowl right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Correct response, what is Auburn?
This is Paul Feinbaum. Listen to me coming up today at 2. Now back to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This segment of the Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage. For all your mortgage needs, it's North Alabama Mortgage. Brian Hammaker and his team standing by to make sure that you have the right product for your mortgage. Make sure that you get pre-approved, because if you're not pre-approved, often you can't even look at a property. You want to be pre-approved, and certainly your offer is not going to look nearly as attractive if you're not pre-approved. If you're pre-qualified, that means nothing. You need to be pre-approved so you're ready to close immediately. You can tell them, say, look, I'm ready to close, all right, because that's it's still very aggressive out there. So check out NorthAlabamaMortgage.com for more information, whether you're in Tennessee or Florida or, of course, the great state of Alabama. All right, so here we are at this moment in time where we are at the crossroads of the crumbling dynasty that is Alabama football, and we have the answer definitively. Breast meat is what is used for boneless wings. Okay, so there we go. It's Wings Wednesday here on the lunchtime version of the Thom Abraham Show. We weren't sure exactly what. Is it wing meat that is used for boneless wings? So really what they are is boneless breasts. I think that would probably be the right thing. Maybe they don't want to call it that. All right, joining us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, a guy who probably never met a wing that he didn't like me, Joey Blackwell. Joey, welcome back. How are you?
Doing well. Now you got me hungry. I don't like to do time slot, Tom. You're making me hungry during it.
Yeah, my mouth was like watering talking about it. I was in the first segment. It's Wings Wednesday, so we're sitting there. I'm talking about it, and the wings, and my mouth was watering. But we were wondering, where does the meat come from that they use in a boneless wing? Because it's an oxymoron. It's not really a wing, and it turns out it's breast meat. So it's a boneless breast, is what it is. Which
now look even more.
Now we're all fans of boneless breasts, so there you go. I don't think they'll call them that, but that's where we're at with it. All right. As Paul Feinbaum said, clearly, the dynasty's over, right? It's been like 10 months since they were in the playoffs. Come on. They haven't won a national championship in almost 2 years. So, the recruiting is terrible. All the recruits have left, and they're battling to get into the Birmingham Bowl here. Barely bowl eligible. They're a mess, right? Alabama's clearly, it's over. It's just a disaster, right?
Yeah, just throw in the towel. Saban should retire. All the usual stuff. Let's just get it over with. I don't even know why they're playing this Saturday. They should just cancel the season right now.
Having said that, it ain't right. We know it's not right. And he talked this morning about, we've lost 2 games by 4 points and the high standard and everything. I'm like, all right, just pump the brakes there a second. You lost 2 games that you were a combined 24-point favorite in by 4 points. You know what I mean? This isn't like you went there and you were a 2-point dog or a 2-point favorite and you lost the game on a last-second field goal. You lost 1 game as a 13.5-point favorite and another as an 11.5-point favorite. So these are big upsets, big losses, and it just does feel like they play a different kind of football than when the foundation was built, if you will. Is that fair?
No, I definitely agree. I mean, they're one loss away from being I think they're one loss away from having the same amount of losses in the regular season as they did all the way back in 2010. So this is definitely the worst team that we've seen since then, at least on paper. They've definitely struggled. And the one thing we do have to remember is that this is a Bama team that still plays well at home, but they have really, really struggled on the road this year. I think that's been one of their biggest shortcomings, but it goes much deeper than that. This is a team that's struggled not just in, specifics. They've struggled generally on both sides of the football. And, one of the biggest talking points this week from a lot of people has been was Nick Saban finally falling behind the 8 ball, for the first time in his career. And I don't think so. Now, if this remains a trend over the next 3-4 seasons, then this will probably be the point that we look back and say, this is when the beginning of the end started.
You got to miss the playoff 2 years in a row.
Yeah,
how about miss the playoff 2 years in a row before we put dirt on the dynasty? You know what I mean? That'd be a little bit dramatic.
Exactly. I think that's what I was saying. If you go down the road 3 or 4 years from now and this has been the trend, then you can point back to this. But right now, it is still way too early to come back. I mean, how many times over the past decade have we had Alabama lose in the national championship game or have a couple of losses and go to a bowl game, and we've heard, the dynasty is dead. Well, we're hearing that same thing now, and I think there's definitely still more success in the future here.
Yeah, it's a fun thing to say. There's no doubt about it. But when you are so reliant on a superstar quarterback, and this is something that facts are stubborn things. I mean, the guys that have the national championship pelts are Greg McElroy, Jake Coker, A.J. McCarron, and then Mac Jones in that vacuum year. But they weren't guys, like you said, that isn't the unbelievable talents that were Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa and Bryce Young. Bryce Young's going to leave without a national champion as the starter. Tua needed, Jalen needed Tua to bail him out, and Tua couldn't stay healthy when he was the full-time starter. So they don't win those championships with those guys. But there's, when I looked at the stats and I saw they called 54 pass plays and only 26 runs on the road at LSU. The way you take a crowd out and the way you demoralize somebody is when Bama used to line up with those big backs and those offensive lines and just pounded the crap out of people and beat them into submission. That's Georgia now, right? That's not Alabama, that's Georgia.
No, absolutely. And that's what I think, not just myself, but I think a lot of critics and fans alike of Alabama have pointed to, where is that old school football that Alabama used to play? Where is that lockdown defense combined with that ground and pound offense? We haven't seen that in quite a while because the pass has been successful, but now that the pass hasn't been as successful due to multiple factors, they haven't turned to rely on the run. They've still kept trying to use the same playbook. And that's one of the criticisms that I've had of this offense is that it refuses to adapt. It seems like over the course of the season, even though to most people we can see its strengths, aka the running game is pretty solid. A couple of the passing can be solid at times, depending on who they're playing. But this Alabama team still seems like it's running the same playbook and running the same scheme that it did in week 1. We haven't seen it evolve and adapt over time. And I think that's honestly been one of its biggest shortcomings that have led to at least a lack of production of points in first halves, which we've seen over these past few games here.
Yeah, and there's other missing elements. I mean, one thing we'll see this week with Ole Miss is, for example, that jet sweep that Lane Kiffin ran so successfully so often with Alabama when he was the offensive coordinator there. It seems like that kind of stuff is gone, and Bill O'Brien, a lot of the play calling is very reminiscent of what you see in the pro game. But in the college game, you can still do some things that are a little bit more deceptive. Where in a pro game, it's all about matchups, individual matchups. My guy is better than your guy. But in the college game, you can still do some things. I'm still waiting to see a jet sweep with JoJo Earle or somebody with Gibbs, taking that thing. But we don't see anything like that.
Yeah, so the play calling has definitely not been the most imaginative that we've seen at Alabama under Nick Saban. It seems, and that's one of its, like I was just saying, that's one of its biggest flaws. It's very, not just, I don't want to say the word predictable, but it honestly is.
Very predictable.
But the only way that it's unpredictable is when, this past week at LSU, you had Jahmyr Gibbs burst for a 19-yard run, And then what did they do? The very next 3 plays in a row were passing plays.
Right.
So in that sense, it's unpredictable. But normally, if it's 1st and 10, you know exactly what they're going to do given the defensive scheme. And obviously, that's the recipe for the 2 losses that they have.
Well, and the running game is a cumulative effect, right? I mean, we've seen it for so many years with them where that, in the first half, you're getting 3. In the first quarter, you're getting 3, 2, 3. Second quarter, all of a sudden, you're breaking off a 6-yarder, an 8-yarder. Third quarter, he breaks off an 18-yarder. Fourth quarter, you're taking it to the house. That's the way to get, God forbid you run it twice in a row. And then when Nick Saban says, look, we weren't getting the results, early on with the running game, I look at the numbers. They averaged 5.5 yards a carry. Gibbs averaged 6.5 yards a carry in that game. And I'm like, explain to me again why in a 1-score game you call 55 run plays, because Bryce Young's 4 runs were all scrambles, and he had 51 attempts. So let's call 55 passing plays in a 1-score game. That's the kind of stuff that's frustrating.
Yeah, and it just goes back to what I said. It's the failure to adapt and the failure to rely on strengths. I think this team coming into this year really thought they were going to have to rely on 2 people. That would be Bryce Young and Jahmyr Gibbs. And they've tried their darndest to rely on Bryce Young as much as they can. And they have to Gibbs. I mean, he's their leading receiver, but we haven't seen Gibbs rack up the rushing yards that we thought we would, and that's not his fault. That's because, like you said, they're underutilizing the running back stable as a whole, and half the time that they do want to try to pull off for a big game, they'll put somebody like Chase McClellan or Roydell Williams in there, which doesn't make much sense when you have a streaky guy like Jahmyr Gibbs. But it's kind of forced the offense to be one-dimensional when it doesn't have to be, and that's why we've seen so many of these defenses take advantage of it.
Yeah, and although I do think that, both of those guys, McClellan, I think that they probably would do well if they had more carries and had an opportunity to. Those are the more physical guys.
For sure.
They look a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not disrespecting their talent at all. I'm just saying that Gibbs hasn't been given the opportunities that we thought we would see from him. I think Roydell and Jason have both done a solid job given the amount of carries they've gotten.
Gibbs has got 707 yards on the season. He's had 98 carries. You don't have to be a math major to know that he's averaging 7 yards a carry. So dude's averaging 7 yards a carry. How does he get in 15 carries? How is it they do it? Now, I know he's not the biggest guy. The other thing that's a little bit concerning, and I said this right at the beginning of the season, Burton was another one. Jermaine Burton. They thought they were going to get the second coming of Jameson Williams. They caught lightning in a bottle with Jameson Williams, but, the recruiting is always so good. They're always growing their own. But here you went into this year again with the number 1 running back, Jahmyr Gibbs, somebody else's guy. The number 1 perceived wide receiver when you brought in Burton, somebody else's guy. You had to go get a left tackle from Vanderbilt, somebody else's guy. It's like, what the heck's going on here? And where are all of the homegrown guys that they get through their own recruiting and so on? Those are 3 key offensive positions. The defensive line, interior-wise, is struggling. Their Mike linebacker was somebody else's guy, Henry To'oTo'o, Tennessee guy. What happened to all of the guys that they bring in and develop into superstars of their own?
Well, I think part of that is just because of the transfer portal obviously it is. But I think when you rely on the transfer portal like Alabama has in the past couple of years to fill those strengths, it makes the job of recruiting more difficult, because if you're recruiting a guy that's, let's say, a 5-star Mike linebacker, for example, that guy could come to Alabama, but then there's somebody like To'oTo'o that's already there, and the question is, well, what's stopping them from bringing somebody else in to replace? That's why we've seen fantastic players like Drew Sanders transfer. Guys that are, of course, he's really, really doing great things for Arkansas, but he's a guy that could have contributed heavily to Alabama. But of course, there's people coming in from the transfer portal. He's not seeing as much playing time as he like, and then he leaves. So I think it becomes harder to not just recruit, but it becomes harder to maintain that talent, because now if you are a player that's being developed in the Alabama system, you're not only worried about the guys coming in behind you, but you're also worried about the guys coming from other institutions into the school.
Joey Blackwell with us here. So, we talk about what is in Georgia and the fact that, Georgia is running the ball like Alabama used to run the ball, and Lane Kiffin, all right, running the ball like they ran the ball when he was at Alabama. I mean, they're outstanding running the ball, right? They're the number 3 rushing offense in the entire country, 267 yards a game rushing. That's what Alabama's going to have to line up against. They score less than Alabama, but that's because of the rushing game. They probably don't have, quite as many plays. Alabama's scoring a little bit more than them, but they're going, the Tide now in this game, as again, a double-digit favorite, go up against an offense that is going to line up and just try and pound the ball at the Tide, right?
Yeah, and I think this is probably the not the third week in a row, 3 of the last 4 weeks that you and I probably both agree that opening line was a little bit wide.
It's too much. Too much. Yeah.
But no, this Ole Miss, Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin has traditionally been a passing attack team, but they have really, really stepped it up in the run game this year. Quinshon Judkins is fantastic. He has over 1,000 yards rushing, obviously, averaging about, I think it's 5.8 yards a carry, something in those around those numbers. But they've really stepped up their running game, and it presents a decent threat when you combine that with Jackson Dart, who's also having a decent year. This is an offense that Lane Kiffin finally has there that can be unpredictable, that can not have to just rely on Matt Corral. It can rely on not just Jackson Dart, but it can rely on the running game to kind of get them through. So I think that the line's at 11.5 right now, but I think that's really, really spread. I really like what Ole Miss can do, and the fact that they're playing at the Grove is also going to help them out a lot. But it's just another one of those Bama road games. I think a lot of it's going to come down to how Alabama responds to the loss at LSU. If they come out with a chip on their shoulder with something to prove to show that they do still belong in that top 10, then I think we'll see Alabama, win. But if they come out with a tail tucked in between their legs after having 2 losses and have kind of thrown in the towel already, then this is a game that Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin can easily win. Yeah, no, they could win this game. Who also could win a game is Arkansas. And they're just a 3-point dog, and Arkansas comes off this horrific, embarrassing loss to Liberty, would embarrass the entire league and maybe get Hugh Freeze another job. I mean, it was ridiculous. But, they're only a 3-point dog to LSU, and how does LSU handle that success now coming off of beating Alabama? All of a sudden, if in fact Arkansas were to dump LSU, now LSU plays a Texas A&M game that they have to win, which is Texas A&M's biggest game of the year because they might not even get to a bowl game, and so you never know what could happen there. So if you're Alabama, you got to keep playing because you just don't know. God forbid you get to that last week and Alabama has to beat Auburn and Texas A&M has to beat LSU, and Alabama's back in Atlanta. I mean, it's how goofy it could be. In a goofy year, that's how goofy it could be. Yeah. It's such a chaotic year. I mean, we even have
chaos
in the top 4 right now, so anything's possible. I've always rooted for chaos, so I like to see what happens. Yeah. But you're absolutely right. This is an Alabama team that can't quit right now. They still do have a legitimate shot. I mean, at the same time, I do like LSU in that game. I think LSU is riding the high of last week's win. I think they've got it in the bag. But if they lose that game, I mean, and you can kind of throw out a lot when it comes to the Texas A&M game, just because obviously A&M's had a really rough year, but that game has kind of turned into a rivalry game over the past 3-4 years. So yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing A&M bring it to that one as well. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's not over, but it's going to take a lot. It seems like it's been a long time since Alabama hasn't been in control of their own destiny, and that's what they're going to have to rely on right now.
No, absolutely. Yeah, it would be absolutely crazy for it to happen. But, you're one game away from being one game away. You know what I mean? One Arkansas upset over LSU, and then all of a sudden you'd be like, what? What do you mean something can happen? I mean, it would be so absolutely crazy. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you. It's not over, the dynasty. I mean, you got to miss the playoffs for like 2 or 3 years in a row. Then you could say it's over. I don't, you're talking about, well, we'll see what it looks like 3-4 years from now. I honestly don't believe. I mean, he's 71 years old now. I think the key will be to bounce back next year. And every time they've had a year that even looks anything like a quote-unquote down year, they've come back with a vengeance, whether it was 2010 or whether it was the year they missed the playoff and what was it, 17 or 18, something like that. They always come back, crazy. So I'm not ready to throw the towel in on the, on the dynasty yet. Whatever dynasty means. I don't even know what that means. All right, man. All right, Joey. Good stuff, man. Always appreciate you. Thanks for moving to lunchtime with us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tom. I'm going to go enjoy some boneless wings now.
Boneless breasts is what they are. Is what they are. So enjoy the boneless breasts. All right, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Well, I'm not talking dirty. It's a fact. They're boneless breasts. That's what they are. Let's get a break. We'll come back and tell you what's going on in hour number 2 next, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Have you been to an Iron Bowl? Even if you have, you haven't experienced the ultimate Iron Bowl tailgate experience, and it could be yours. How? Head to Baumhauer's Victory Grill every week to sign up to win. We'll also draw weekly winners that will win a lunch bunch from Baumhauer's Victory Grill. So what should you do? Go to Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Sign up for the ultimate Iron Bowl tailgate experience. Listen to The Drive each Thursday, and Wes and Steve will draw a weekly winner. The ultimate Iron Bowl tailgate experience, presented by Baumhauer's Victory Grill.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
Organizations using Salesforce know how powerful the platform is and how much time, money, and headaches it saves if it's set up right and you know how to use it. Let's face it, Salesforce is complicated and time-consuming to figure out, and a lot can go wrong now and down the road without expert help. That's why most Salesforce users work with an implementation partner like Higher Echelon, so they get the absolute most out of their Salesforce investment. Higher Echelon is a 5-star Salesforce consulting partner who won Salesforce Military Hiring Partner of the Year. President Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets. He puts that experience to good use at Higher Echelon, where they pride themselves on hiring veterans. Look, not all Salesforce partners are the same. Don't put your company at risk by going with an inferior partner. Higher Echelon is the trusted partner you can count on to get you up and running and seeing returns on your Salesforce investment in a fraction of the time it would take if you go it alone. Go to higherechelon.com. That's HIGHERECHELON.com to learn more. Go higher and go Army. No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Attorney Tommy Sinyard on behalf of Sinyard Law, and again proud to be a sponsor of all things football here on ESPN Radio. My son Bart and I started our own law firm July 1 and are very proud and excited to be bringing you our 50 years of collective national award-winning injury trial law experience. Check us out on the web, sinyardlaw.com.
Sinyard Law, nationally recognized, locally respected.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. A little cooler across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee, but temperatures still above average, climbing into the low and mid 70s. Dropping into the lower 50s as we head into the overnight, early into your Thursday morning. Maybe a little more cloud cover across the area Thursday afternoon, but still going to be a nice warm day across the area. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 70s. Dropping into the upper 50s and lower 60s through the overnight, early into your Friday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Catch the Tide every Saturday. Hi, this is Chris Stewart of the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Listen to Alabama football on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Roll Tide.
Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. I'm confused about so many things today, Grizz. I mean, it's just so many things that are just not making sense to me. I'm very confused. So the Republicans aren't going to cover the spread, and you know, it's like, wait a minute, the Republicans are taking. They had like a 14-seat minority in the House of Representatives. They're going to win the House, but they're not covering the spread. It was like this big red wave that was supposed to happen. They were supposed to win by like 3 touchdowns or something. I don't know. But they're still taking the House, but they're not taking it by as much as they thought. And they still might take the Senate. At worst, it maybe is going to be still tie ball game, 50-50, which is, the vice president has the deciding vote there. But without the Senate, you can't, we're going to have gridlock anyway, which we seem to have all the time anyway. But it's so weird. We're getting killed. Today's stock market's down over 500 points. All right, anybody that's got stocks, you're getting crushed today. Stock market's down 500 points because it wasn't as big a win for the Republicans as it could have been or should have been. I'm confused. If you have control, you have control. But the red team is not covering the spread. Yeah. They're going to have a majority.
They have that 51%.
Well, they're going to have that in the Senate. I mean, in the House, they'll have that. Not in the Senate, but maybe in the Senate. They still could. If run, Herschel, run. My God, a freshman. My God, he's a freshman senator. Dad, you want to talk about a vote? When you vote for Herschel, you're voting just strictly for conservatives because you're not voting for the dude. I mean, you listen to Herschel talk. I love Herschel Walker, but my God. I mean, really? Senator? Really?
He's behind the Braves. He's
Don't want
behind the
guy.
Braves.
That's right, baby. He's back in the Braves.
He's back in the Braves.
David Moulton, no relation to Steve Moulton, is next right here on 97.7 ESPN.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Lawyers for WNBA star Brittany Griner say she's been sent to a penal colony in Russia to serve her sentence for drug possession. Her lawyers also say Griner's family may not know where she is for some time. Griner had been in a Russian jail since her detainment in February after police claimed they found vape cartridges containing cannabis oil in her luggage. An appeals court upheld her conviction last month. NFL, an update today expected on Bills quarterback Josh Allen. He's being evaluated for a right elbow injury. If Allen cannot play on Sunday against the Vikings, Buffalo would turn to backup Case Keenum. NBA Clippers will be without star Kawhi Leonard a 9th consecutive game tonight against the Lakers due to right knee injury management. The Wednesday NBA doubleheader tips off with the Nets and Knicks, then Lakers-Clippers. Coverage starts at 7 Eastern on ESPN TV with NBA Countdown.
The best in local sports talk from the 256. We are local.
When you're number one, you don't have to worry.
We are award-winning. Thank you for listening. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You'll be set for life.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
College football, Alabama ranked 10th in the latest college football playoff rankings after their loss to LSU Saturday. The Crimson Tide at Ole Miss this week, coming into Oxford a 12-point favorite. Auburn hosting Texas A&M, the Tigers a 2-point favorite at home. NBA, the Hawks winners of 3 straight, coming off a dominant win over the Bucks last time out and hosting the Jazz tonight. Atlanta a 3.5-point home favorite. The over-under set at 226. College basketball getting underway around the SEC. Auburn opening at plus 4,500 odds to win a national championship this season. Alabama opening at plus 5,000. Red hot winning picks at experts.winnersandwhiners.com. Save 75% on any best bet package with the promo code ACTION75. That's ACTION75 at experts.winnersandwhiners.com.
on Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. A little cooler across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee, but temperatures still above average, climbing into the low and mid 70s. Dropping into the lower 50s as we head into the overnight, early into your Thursday morning. Maybe a little more cloud cover across the area Thursday afternoon, but still going to be a nice warm day across the area. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 70s. Dropping into the upper 50s and lower 60s through the overnight, early into your Friday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Touchdown, Alabama! No look pass inside, but he got to go to the flood.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog. Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog, Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
In the world of radio intros, that's the first time I've heard it, and I can't imagine that there are three better national radio intros than that one.
No, there's no doubt about it. I mean, there you go. I mean, that's Andy Schatzley right there, the Trash Pandas manager, named the Southern League Manager of the Year. And who better would know than him? I'm surprised he said I can't imagine that there's three better national intros than that. I mean, come on. Come on, Andy. I mean, find me one. I mean, come on. You'd be kidding me. All right, welcome back. Hour number 2, lunchtime edition of the Thom Abraham Show. Those of you that used to listen to us when we were in this time slot, welcome back. And those of you that we lost that are listening like 2 hours from now on the replay, I'm glad you're there. That's good. Excuse me. This segment of the show is brought to you by TOC. For all your injury ailments, it is TOC. No matter how you got hurt, you may just be getting old and breaking down. Maybe you got hurt athletically. Maybe you got hurt at work. Whatever it is, TOC has the answer for you, the Orthopedic Center and TOC Sports. All right, joining us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline from Monday Night Football and the SEC on CBS. Of course, he was in Athens this past weekend. He will be in Oxford this upcoming weekend. He is the one and only David Moulton, and he's on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. David, welcome in. How are you?
I'm good, but I need to throw a disclaimer out at the beginning.
Yeah.
I went to the dentist 3 hours ago.
Uh-oh.
And I had major work done. I cannot feel from the tip of my nose to my chin. So if I sound like I am on meth, I'm not. I went to the dentist.
Well, I can see that side of your face, the right side of your face, looks a little bit not moving. It's just kind of stuck there like that. It's just kind of like you're talking like one of them back them New Jersey guys. You know what I'm talking? You're talking like a Jersey boy a little bit over there.
It's really weird when you can feel parts of your tongue, but not all of it. When you can feel parts of your nose, but not all of it. When you can feel one of your rosy cheeks, but not the other. Very weird.
What you're saying is the David Moulton dynasty, like the Nick Saban dynasty, is coming to an end. As our good friend Paul Feinbaum says, it's over. It's done.
Really?
That's what he said. Look, David, it's been 10 months since they were in the playoffs. I mean, they haven't made a playoff. They haven't won a national championship in almost 2 years. I mean, it's over.
Know.
It's
I mean, fire the bum. He loses 2 games on the final play of the game. I mean, ship his ass to Montana. Come on.
Now, they were double-digit favorites in both of those games, so it's not like they were supposed to be close games, so you're not supposed to lose those games. But the
Buffalo Bills were 11-point favorites against the Jets. It happens.
That's true. That's true. It does happen. Doesn't happen to Nick Saban that often, but it's clearly because now Feinbaum's he's like, well, if they don't they don't win a national championship this year, so now it's been 5 years. They've won one national championship in 5 years. Okay, they've won 2 and 6. All right.
Oh my goodness!
And they lost
they've
in the national championship.
1 and 5. They've only played for 3 and 5.
Yeah.
God, don't stop at Montana. Ship them all the way to Alaska.
I mean, it's kind of funny. I will say this though.
Kind of funny.
It is. It's kind of funny.
It's pretty damn ridiculous. Come on.
It is. It is.
By the way, I should not be saying words like that when I can barely put.
You move your mouth. Something bad could come out. Yeah.
No, we're watching. We're watching. We got the dump button.
There's an FCC violation in me today. I can feel it. Unintentional, but it's in me.
Well, wait, Grizz, does the dump button work when we have a guest on Zoom? I mean, does that work for those watching?
I hope so.
I hope so, too. For those of you who are
I hope
watching,
it picks up on the bad words.
I hope it will. Tom, here's what I think. It works on the zone, but not on the blitz.
There you go. There you go. Well, the blitz is a little edgier. You know what I mean? So I think you can get away with more on the blitz.
Exactly.
All right, so in all seriousness, okay, change the color of red on that Georgia team, rip that G off and put a number on the side of that helmet. That is the Alabama team that built this dynasty back in the early part of the decade. Am I lying? Because they play that's Alabama football right there.
Yes,
what we saw out of them.
Frankly, Tom, I think it's one thing. If Alabama lost to Tennessee, I think an Alabama fan would be like, well, damn. But it's the way they played Tennessee. That was the way I think the Alabama fans thought that they were going to try to play Tennessee. They were just going to line up defensively and challenge those receivers. And instead, it just felt like they were playing soft. We'll give them the underneath stuff, then we'll give them the middle stuff. And then you ended up giving like 4 bombs. I mean, that's the way that Alabama, like the first series of the game, after the turnover, Georgia had 5 in the box, and they had 3 DBs on each side of the field for the 2 Tennessee receivers. That's exactly how Nick has played defense forever. 3 on 2, 3 on 2, and 5 in the box. And Georgia stood there, looked at Tennessee, and said, I dare you to run the ball. I dare. We have 5 in the box. I dare you to run it.
And then they would bring the same, and they brought that same edge blitz over and over again. They sacked Hendon Hooker 6 times. I mean, that's the way you got to play that guy. You got to come after him. You can't sit there and let him pick you apart.
Tom, how many times have yahoos like you and I, never mind, okay, your listeners, okay, and I'm not saying they're yahoos because they're clearly smarter than you and I.
Yes.
Right? How many times during the game did they call in afterwards and go, well, we were running this play. Why didn't we run it more often? Okay, I watched the Georgia-Florida game a couple of years ago. Dan Mullen ran, the same, route out of the backfield, and he had 6 big plays on it. And he basically said to Georgia, well, if you're not going to defend this play, I'll just keep running it. And that's clearly what happened with Georgia. They sacked him the one time and said, well, we'll just keep listening.
Yeah. And they did, and they kept them in the pocket, and they showed. But again, going back to the Alabama of 2009 to 2015, that era, that's what they would go up against these uber sexy offenses, and they would squeeze the life out of them. And look at Georgia. They've played Oregon averages over 48 points a game. Tennessee averages over 48 points a game. They gave up a total of 1 touchdown to those 2 teams. That's a beautiful thing. I mean, I watched that, and I'm just like, that Kirby took the Crimson Tide with him to Athens because and then they ran the ball, and then they had a quarterback that doesn't make mistakes, that can make a big play when he needs to. I mean, he's got A.J. McCarron playing quarterback for him. He's got Jake Coker winning a national championship for him. That's what That's what I'm looking at.
Do you also remember the Alabama offenses in 2009 through 2012 and 13? A lot of 2 tight ends, even some fullback, a lot of motion, a lot of play action, little rolls, little boots. That's Georgia, man. Georgia has turned the tide back 5 to 8 years. and it's working. I will say it really helps when you have Travis Kelce and Warren Sapp on your team. And at this level, Bowers and Carter are as impactful as Travis Kelce and Warren Sapp. I mean, they are dominant players.
They know how to use them, though. I mean, you know, Alabama's got Jahmyr Gibbs.
Jahmyr
Gibbs averages 6.9 yards a carry. They gave him the ball 15 times in a one-score game. 15 carries, guy averages 6.9. And, well, you know, we're having a hard time running it. God forbid you run it 3 plays in a row. Liable to take one to the house.
Well, you know, I mean, the coaching staff's pretty well paid. I mean, it's got a lot of experience there. I mean, you know, Todd Monk and Will Muschamp, I mean, you know, I know people don't necessarily think they want them as their head coach, but, you know, they're pretty damn good coordinators.
Yeah. No, they have an excellent staff there. They're fun to watch. So speaking of a couple of knuckleheads like you and I, they don't fly us to Dallas and put us into, you know, a big high rent, you know, hotel and have us pour over all this information and data for 15 hours so that we could come up with a poll that really doesn't matter much at this particular point with all the big games that are coming up. I don't know about you, though. I sat there and rattled off what I thought the top 10 should be yesterday at my show, and I missed on basically one team. I had UCLA at 9 or at 8 instead of USC. They put USC at 8, and that was it. I mean, they could have got this done a lot cheaper to just call us. I mean, what's the point of this? We're flying these people in and everything else to tell us that right now it's Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, and TCU, and then Tennessee at 5. I mean, you know, we could have figured that out.
Tom, have you ever been to the Four Seasons in Dallas?
Pretty nice.
Really nice. The restaurant's awesome. They got a gorgeous outdoor pool. They have an indoor pool. I mean, it's real. They have a golf course right out back. I mean, Tom, that's why they're doing it. I mean, come on. Like, we need bowl committee people now. I mean, the people walking around in those jackets, they don't pick the teams anymore. The conferences make the deal and tell the guy in the ugly jacket, by the way, we're sending you Clemson and Ole Miss. Have fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, the other part of it is I would be okay if they want to give us one of these after 7 or 8 weeks and then just shut up. I'll see you in December. Because we don't need to have it week after. They don't do that with the selection committee in basketball. We don't hear every single week, okay, if the season ended, this is what it would look like. Look, TCU's going to lose. Let me tell you something. TCU might lose the next 2. They're going to lose to Texas, and they're going to lose to that Baylor golf shirt that you have on there. They're going to lose to them, too, I think, possibly the next 2 weeks. Who are we kidding?
Okay. Can you play along with me here?
Yeah.
TCU's not going to win out. LSU's not going to win out. Alabama is not going to make it to Atlanta. Somebody's going to lose the Ohio State-Michigan game. Tennessee is going to be an 11-1 non-conference champion. The point I'm trying to make here is if we get a 12-1 Pac-12 champion and, hear me out, if we get a 12-1 Clemson as ACC champion, do you think the committee is going to put, let's just say Michigan loses, an 11-1 Michigan or an 11-1 Tennessee in ahead of a 12-1 Oregon or a 12-1 Clemson? Because
they'll put them in. I think they will in front of Clemson. They set the standard right now by putting Tennessee 5 and Oregon 6. I think they have now set the bar and said, you know what, Clemson, and Clemson got the snot beat out of them by a team that was unranked at the time in Notre Dame. So I think, yes, Tom, for Clemson. I think Clemson will go bye.
Okay, remember, this is a TV show. A lot of people, in fact, the most people who have watched a college football game this year watched Tennessee get beat by Georgia. That game was not as close as the final score.
But they put them 5. They put them 5.
But just bear with me here. 5 on the second week of November means nothing. We saw in 2016, when they want to put a team in, they'll put them in. In 2014, the number 4 and 5 teams in the country both won by 6 touchdowns. They put in number 6 Ohio State because that's who they wanted in. For this is a TV show, Tom. Until the final one, it's a TV show. Let me ask you this. do you think the committee is going to say, I think Tennessee deserves another crack at Georgia? Or are they going to say, I think Clemson should get their shot at Georgia. Tennessee already had theirs. And by the way, they're a 12-1 conference champion, and Tennessee's an 11-1 non-conference champion.
Look,
I'm not saying
I'll tell you why they're not going to do it.
They're not advocating.
They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it because Clemson doesn't have a win like Tennessee has. Tennessee has a win over Alabama. Clemson has nothing like that. And Clemson's loss is so awful. Tennessee, when they only slipped them to 5, and the bar, by the way, has been set for the Michigan-Ohio State game. So now what has to happen is the Michigan-Ohio State loser can't get beat any worse than what Tennessee got beat. Because Tennessee, that score is so not what that game was. But where are you going to put them? Who would you have put in front of Tennessee right now? You can't put Oregon in front of there. Oregon got beat even worse.
Tom, you're missing the point. I'm not talking about November 9th. I'm talking about like December 5th.
But they're not going to jump a team from 5 spots behind them. Because when TCU loses this weekend.
They do it all the time. They make the rules up as they go along. Last week they were saying about TCU, you know why we have them 7? They've trailed in games. We don't like the fact they're behind in the first half a lot. Well, they were trailing going to the fourth quarter against Texas Tech, and they moved them up to 4.
They lose to Texas. Tennessee's in the 4 next week. And they're not going to drop them out. I don't see them dropping them out.
Will. Sure they will.
Let me tell you something. I'm bold. I want to. Yeah.
This goes back to 2006. What happened? 11-1 Michigan was pushed to the side for 12-1 Florida. Why? They won a conference. They played an extra game. Even though Michigan was more impressive during the season, even though Michigan had the best win in the country that year, devouring Notre Dame in South Bend by 3 touchdowns. At the end of the day, the committee said conference champion, and Michigan already had their shot. The thing that I think hurts Tennessee is I can't see them being higher than 4.
Well, I think that they. Well, it depends on how. Depends on how the team.
Move up to 3. I could see them giving Tennessee a shot at Ohio State. I think
don't 3 is where they're going.
See them saying, "Well, we watched that game, and we think Tennessee deserves another shot." When that game was over, did anybody want to see Tennessee play Georgia again?
They had the shot, though. They had the shot to move them down a lot further, and they didn't do it. They had the chance to do it. And right now, if TCU loses this game this week, Tennessee goes into that 4, and you have to tell me is how bad does Ohio State beat Michigan? Because then Michigan's only win is against Penn State, which is not as sexy as Tennessee's win over, Alabama, Florida, Kentucky. I mean, they beat some people to death. So I think that that's a better looking deal. I think that I think the 12-1 that could jump Tennessee, honestly, is Oregon more than Clemson. I think Oregon's 12-1. It would be better than Clemson's 12-1 because Oregon would have been all the way back to week 1 when they got a mud hole stomped in them by Georgia. But they have to beat. They still have to beat UCLA or USC. And by the way, I think UCLA is better than USC. Tom Luganville stood on the sidelines and have seen both of those teams, and he says UCLA is better. That's why I put UCLA 8 instead of USC.
Matt Leinart came out today and said UCLA is better. And that USC and UCLA should essentially be flipped. Tom, I think Oregon, if they win out, is going to move all the way up to 3. I mean, TCU is going to lose, and obviously somebody between Ohio State and Michigan is going to lose. I think Oregon wins out. They're going to move up to 3. Then it's a matter of, are we going to have an 11-1 non-conference champion, the loser of Ohio State, Michigan, or Tennessee, or are we going to put in a 12-1 Clemson?
I think they showed us. I think they showed us their ass here. I really do. Look. I'm going to just say it. I could be wrong. I'm wrong all the time. I'm going to say right now, I think we're back to two Big Ten teams and 2 SEC teams. It's not the 2 SEC teams we thought, but I think if Michigan hangs with Ohio State, or I'm more worried for Ohio State to lose because it's at Ohio State. If Michigan gets beat by a field goal by Ohio State, you watch. We'll get Georgia 1. We'll get Ohio State 2. We'll get Tennessee 3. We'll get Michigan 4. And the rest of the country could go suck rock salt with your 12-1s. They'll put Clemson and Oregon in a bowl game together.
I think Clemson, if Oregon wins out and Clemson wins out, and the other games happen according to the point spread, I actually think Clemson's going to be 4, but Clemson really needs Ohio State to beat Michigan, because they can't have 11-1 Ohio State sitting there who beat Notre Dame when they're 12-1 and they lost to Notre Dame. They I think can get the nod over Michigan, who didn't really beat anybody non-conference or outside of Penn State. But I don't think they can get in over Ohio State.
I think they got to absolutely romp over Louisville, Miami, and South Carolina, and then probably North Carolina in the ACC. I mean, they'd have to look so impressive to overcome that loss to Notre Dame. I mean, because the way they lost to Notre Dame, I think Clemson's done.
I understand. You got to remember, 1/4 of the audience saw them lose to Notre Dame that saw Tennessee lose to Georgia. That's another thing to consider.
But the audience isn't picking it. The committee is picking it, you know.
Yeah, well, you really think they're paying attention, Tom? I mean, do we really think those 12 people are paying attention? Come on.
Well, I think more so than the voter, than the AP and the coaches poll they are. I mean, that's, you know, I hope they are. Jeez.
The other area where we disagree is you view number 5 as like a really great spot in the poll. I view it as the friend zone. And there's no guarantee that you ever leave the friend zone and start dating.
So would you agree that if TCU loses this week, that Tennessee, assuming a win against Missouri, they'll beat Missouri. I don't know if they're going to cover 20.5. Missouri could be scrappy. Do you think Tennessee slides into the top 4?
Yeah, I could see that.
Okay, so if they slide up, because who else are they going to move up, right? So if they
Oregon.
Move, what is Oregon going to do to jump them this week?
You asked me. I don't think so, but yes. Yeah. We'll go with it.
So if they move into the top 4, that means they most likely stay there all the way to the final pick.
Why?
They're not going to take up because they're just going to win out. And that, you know.
Tom, when the committee wants to put a team in, they put a team in. Ask Baylor and TCU about 2014, when Baylor was 4 and TCU was 5. And they both won out, and they each won their final game by 6 touchdowns. Yeah. And Ohio State at 6 destroyed, I think it was Wisconsin, the Big Ten title game. And the committee said, we just think Ohio State's better. And they put them in at 4. Now, the committee turned out to look great because Ohio State went on to win the national title. Okay, but at the time, we all said, how the heck can you do that? Number 4 won by 6 touchdowns. Number 5 won by 6 touchdowns. What are you doing? And they said, well, I don't know what to tell you. At the end of the day, we woke up and we just thought Ohio State was better. And that's why, Tom, the polls in November mean bupkis.
What is going to happen if Arkansas comes off of this horrific loss, embarrassed the whole league, embarrassed the entire South against Liberty? What if Arkansas dumps LSU? You know, only a 3-point dog. What if Arkansas dumps LSU, leaving us with a scenario where Alabama beats Ole Miss, leaving a scenario where, oh my God, if LSU goes to College Station and somehow loses that game, Alabama's going to end up in Atlanta. I mean, well, how people's heads would explode. They would explode. Absolutely would explode. I don't think they could beat Georgia, but I didn't think they beat Georgia last year in the SEC championship. But can you imagine, just to set up the drama of the last game, don't have LSU lock up the West this week against Arkansas. Have them have to beat Texas A&M Thanksgiving weekend to lock up the West. That would be great drama.
Well, and also it would mean that we at CBS would be in College Station. We would not be doing the Iron Bowl. We'd have to go to College Station.
Yeah. Right, you'd have to go to College Station.
And the Iron Bowl would probably be played at night.
You and I are both seam heads. We still love baseball. I just want to say this to close. We do love baseball, but we love our football more, but we do love baseball. Surprised even a little bit that both SEC games on Saturday, your game, the Tennessee-Georgia game, which was the highest-rated game of the season, 13.06 million viewers, even more than the Tennessee-Alabama game, just edging the Tennessee-Alabama game, and the Alabama-LSU game on cable getting 7.5 million. Both of those games had more viewership then Game 6 of the World Series to clinching Game 6. Is this a little? I mean, that's a little bit. I mean, that was Game 6 of the World Series on Fox, and they only had 6 million people watching that. There were more people at the same time watching Alabama LSU over on ESPN, not even ABC.
I'm not being a jerk here because you're right. You and I love baseball. Baseball is a regional sport unless the Yankees are involved. College football,
even the World Series.
College football is a national sport, and particularly when Notre Dame and Alabama are playing in the evening.
Yeah, Notre Dame had 3.22 million watching that game. They had half as many as watching the Alabama LSU game, and there was 13, and that was going on during the baseball. I mean, and it was a time. World Series was World Series, right? It would get 14, 15 million people no matter what. It's World Series. Now we don't even tune it in. I mean, we're like, 6 million people. That was like the third. That would be like the third or fourth regular season college football game of the day. I feel bad for baseball.
And I think Chad would agree with me. Baseball is a regional sport except for the Yankees.
I could totally agree with you on that one. Yeah,
maybe the Dodgers or the Cubs. Cubs and Indians.
I mean, listen, the Cubs. Maybe a smidge, but more so when they hadn't won it yet. Okay, but, I mean, Tom, the ratings show. You put the Yankees involved? Remember, we haven't had the Yankees in a World Series in 13 years. Major League Baseball, I mean, let me tell you, imagine if Alabama goes through a Yankees-like slump. Oh my goodness.
Oh, forget about
humanity.
I can remember that.
Disband the program. Yeah, I mean, it would be to just stop playing altogether.
I mean, how many coaches would we be on? I mean, Nick would have gone and then probably go through the 3 other guys.
Well, here's the good news. If this was 2 years from now, we'd get Alabama and USC in the first round of the 12-team playoff in Los Angeles. How about that? That'd be pretty good.
No, we wouldn't.
We would.
No, we wouldn't. It'd be 7. Alabama's 9.
We would.
That's right. I keep thinking.
That's right. It'd be Alabama at USC. Yep. The winner plays Georgia in the bowl game. Yeah.
But also think about 2 or 4 years from now, the Alabama-Ole Miss game would be an elimination game. The winner would make the 12-team playoff, and the loser would be out.
Yeah. So here's the way it would look right now. These first 4 games on campus: Alabama at USC, Tulane at Michigan, Ole Miss at Tennessee, Clemson at LSU.
Lane at Tennessee?
Yes, that would be the first round, 11v6. With the winner playing TCU.
I'd empty a savings account to see that. I really would. That would be so great.
That would be amazing. This playoff's going to be cool. It's, you know what? There's 130. This is not going to ruin the regular season. It really is not, because it's going to be hard to get into this thing too. It's not going to ruin the regular season. I don't know.
No, like Georgia, Tennessee would have been winner's going to get a bye, be one of the top 4 seeds, and the loser is going to get a home playoff game. They're going to be 5 through 8. That's 2 or 4 years from now. That's what Georgia, Tennessee will be. Will it then get maybe 11 million viewers instead of 13? Probably. But will it still be a big deal and have ramifications? Absolutely.
By the way, too, this clears up this is Andy Staples, or Stuart Mandel, who I got great respect for, is the one that's following this, every week, doing what the 12-team field would look like. And this brings credence to the fact that some people thought that the top 6 highest-rated conference champions that are all going to get into tournament are going to be seeded 1 through 6. That's not true. So no. Tulane would be, a top seed. They would get in as a conference champion of the 6th conference championship, but they would be the 12th seed. So they would be playing at Michigan. Tulane would not be hosting Michigan. So if anybody who thinks that, there'd be a top 6 seed, no, they would not. So I get that.
It's not like the NFL. It's not like you can have this 7-win division winner who's then the 4 seed hosting the 13-win wild card team who's a 5. No, that's not how college will do it.
All right, man. I appreciate you as always. You made it through. I think your face is doing better now than it was when we started this interview.
Okay, when I started, I couldn't feel from the tip of my nose down. Now I can't feel from my bottom lip down.
Yeah, and we're gonna give you what's the word? Dispensation on your crazy take about Clemson, because we're going to say that it's the drugs that's making you think that way. It's the,
Okay. All
right.
right.
They would have put. They should have. Listen, if they felt that way, they would have put Clemson 7, 6. Nope. They put them all the way down at 10, and they said, "Goodbye, Clemson. Go away with your 35-7 loss to Notre Dame. Goodbye."
Tom, you're falling victim to you think these polls matter. There's only one poll that matters. This is all a television show. Tom, this is the People's Choice Awards. All right, early December, that's the Academy Awards.
Would you agree that we don't really shouldn't even see this? Like in the basketball, they don't tell us every week. Right. I don't want to see this till December. Right. Give me one. I want to hear. I wonder what you think after 7 or 8 weeks. I want that one, but then go away till December. Don't screw with us, because you're gonna rip these people's hearts out. If they're thinking what you're thinking, and Tennessee is 4 going into championship weekend, and Clemson's still like 9, and then they go beat North Carolina in Charlotte for the ACC championship, and then the next day they end up 3 or 4, and Tennessee is out. Don't do that to those people. Don't even tell us what you're thinking. Okay, just do it. Don't tell us.
I'll just throw this out there. I know you got to go. You're talking about Clemson as if they're like NC State. Remember, when the season started, what was everyone saying? Oh, I'm tired of Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, and Clemson. Got to remember, Clemson's royalty in the sport right now. Now, you don't think of this year's team as royalty, and no one does. But in amongst the committee, Clemson's one of the big 4. They have cachet. You don't like this year's team, but Clemson, the program, has cachet.
Yeah, that dynasty's dead. Dabo's dynasty is dead.
Ship his ass to Idaho, too. Hey, get rid of both of them.
He couldn't even beat offensive coordinator for Saban.
If Nick retires, I don't want Dabo as coach. That guy, what the heck's he done lately?
Look, they barely beat Florida State. They barely beat Syracuse. They barely beat NC State by 10. They went overtime against Wake Forest. They come on. Get out of here.
Win 12 games in a conference championship. Bum.
They missed the playoff last year. They're old news. Why isn't Paul talking about Dabo and that dynasty being over? Why is he talking about Saban, who was in the playoffs last year, in the championship game last year? Come on. Anyway. All right, man. I appreciate you. I feel better with your face. I hope your face gets better by the time you get to Oxford. I don't want you to get mocked by Lane Kiffin. You should be going.
That's a hell of a quote. Feel better with your face.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want Lane making fun of you, in the meetings or something. Do you get to go to the meetings, by the way, or no?
If I want to, I do.
How could you not want to? Those meetings got to be fascinating. No?
No.
They're boring?
Not anymore. They used to be. To be. The coaches used to have a personality. They used to say things. Now, not so much.
When Deion ends up in Auburn, you'll go to that meeting.
Oh, that's a different story. Coming in a day early.
You're going into that meeting, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, man. I appreciate you.
All right, be good.
That's it. It's a good break. Phone lines go open the rest of the way. I'll tell you what this 12-team thing would look like right now. It'd be pretty interesting. And I got a bunch of other notes here that I want to get to. I spent the time preparing this show. I might as well get this stuff in the last 15 minutes of the show. All right, we'll be back. 256-576-4977 on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hi, I'm Capri, and the little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe is the chicken. They actually put it on the grill, cooked it in the sauce. It's definitely a good grilled spicy sandwich.
Hey, I'm Michelle, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe is it's spicy and it's full of flavor. When you pair that with the Kale Crunch Salad, it's just good.
Order a grilled spicy deluxe sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Available for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Football season is here, and as always, the best place to catch every game is downtown at Humphrey's Bar and Grill. Humphrey's is celebrating by bringing back their game day football specials. $2.75 Miller Lite, Coors Light, Yingling, and $3.50 Yellowhammer Gold Pints. $4 Fireball shots. Anytime football is on. And don't forget football trivia every Sunday night at 6. The best place to catch all the games all season long is downtown at Humphrey's Bar and Grill.
Here's Bobby White from Woody Anderson Ford on their service department.
President's Award winner 2 years in a row. That's only given to the top 10% of Ford dealers in customer satisfaction. So we're very proud of the service department. And our body shop. If you happen to get into an accident, which not a lot of people just want to go down and see a body shop, but if you get into an accident, award-winning body shop. We have state-of-the-art paint booths back there. They're waterborne paints that we use, friendly for the environment. We've got our production system, the way things are in and out. We have the fastest cycle rate in town of getting your vehicle in, getting your vehicle out, and assured that it's fixed right. We take pictures before it's wrecked, and not only after, but we take it as we're putting the parts on. All done to above industry standards. So I'm proud of our body shop too. Don't forget our parts department. So if you don't have to need parts, performance parts, or just parts if you're a weekend mechanic.
Woody Anderson Ford, located at the corner of Jordan and Sparkman, as well as Hughes Road and Madison. You can also check out the great deals at WoodyAndersonFord.com.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Kerry Rosenblum here with Rosenblum Realty, and we appreciate our MA family. Football season is back again, and we're here for your real estate needs. We've been also doing rental properties for many years. You may have a home that you need to lease out. You don't need the headaches. You need somebody to take care of it, make sure the repairs are done, keep the rent coming in, and screen the tenants. We can do all that for you at Rosenblum Realty, where we do property management services, or you can find a good home to rent as well. Call us at 256-539-9501. Put our years of experience to work for you.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out, or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Welcome back. Stan McDonald from the Stanton Law Firm. I had lunch with Lewis just recently and with a client of ours, a mutual client, and great to hear all the good things going on at the Stanton Law Firm.
Thank you, Wes. The Stanton Law Firm, as you know, we've discussed before, we're dirt lawyers. We do a lot of real estate, litigation and closing. And yes, my son Lewis McDonald enjoyed meeting you a couple of weeks ago, and a couple of your friends. He is, as you know, he's opened up a commercial closing division. So he's really helping a lot of people who are trying to close, buy, or sell on their commercial property. And you can't be in this community doing business without knowing Wes neighbors.
I don't know about that, but it sure was getting to meet another McDonald and talking a little bit about his grandfather, Coach Dye, and right, the different things. It was a lot of fun.
Well, your listeners are really going to enjoy meeting Lewis and you in this community. And like I said, at Jacob Title or the Stanton Law Firm, we close business. We close some good commercial closings, residential closings. We appreciate being part of your show.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. A little cooler across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee, but temperatures still above average, climbing into the low and mid-70s. Dropping into the lower 50s as we head into the overnight, early into your Thursday morning. Maybe a little more cloud cover across the area Thursday afternoon, but still going to be a nice warm day across the area. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 70s. Dropping into the upper 50s and lower 60s through the overnight, early into your Friday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Listen to Randolph Raider football all season long.
Does he cross the line? He does! Touchdown, Randolph!
Nice drive. Really well done.
On 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Steve Moulton from The Drive. Be sure and join us today from 5 to 7 with Wes Neighbors and me. Now back to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
night tonight for The Drive. Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. Segment of the show is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford. Your service department at Woody Anderson Ford is all you need for all your vehicle service, whether you have a Ford or not. They can get it done at Woody Anderson Ford. The showroom is spectacular. The service lanes are spectacular. The shop is spectacular. Where they do the work itself, it's all great down there at the empire that is Woody Anderson Ford. You're going to want to check it out. Woody Anderson of Madison's beautiful as well, right there on Hughes off of 72 in Madison. But Woody Anderson Ford and you know, Bobby White and his crew, they just do such a tremendous job. And don't forget the certified gold pre-owned Woody Anderson Fords, which you can find at WoodyAndersonFord.com. That's exactly where I found my truck, and that's exactly where I found my wife's Mustang, right there. And she's out riding around in that Mustang today because it is glorious out there. It is absolutely glorious out there. Grizz, big night for Wes and Steve tonight. Yeah. Big night for the area. Big night for the soccer fan in the area because tonight they will be broadcasting from down at the Mars Music Hall. And tonight is the big unveil for the name of Huntsville SC. I mean, that's what they're going to call it, right? I mean, it's going to be Huntsville SC, right?
I'm just kind of, you know.
Is it Nashville SC or is it SC Nashville?
Nashville SC.
Nashville FC or SC as in soccer?
SC.
SC. Because some are FC as in football because they think it's football, but it's not.
It's soccer club.
Right, it's soccer. All right, it's soccer here. So I think it's going to be Huntsville SC, and we're going to get the colors and the it's either that or they're going to be named, you know, like the Trash Pandas were. You know, they might be named something that doesn't make any sense at all. They could be the Rocket City Pole Monkeys or something. You know what I mean? Who knows?
I could be okay with Huntsville SC. I mean, I'm totally cool with that.
Huntsville SC colors. Do you go blue and gold like Nashville? I mean, you're the triple A to then you're the triple A to the double A team in Nashville, right? So do you go blue and gold and blue, or do you try? You can't go orange and blue, and you can't go crimson and white, right? You know what you could go. Legitimately, you could go black and red.
Yeah, or red and blue.
Red and blue. So a little bit of Alabama, a little bit of
You do like red and blue stripes on the jerseys or something. They need to ask me. I'm just kind of irked that I didn't get asked to come to this thing. I'm just going to show up like I'm setting up the stuff.
I think it's open to the public.
It is. I think there's something also that you could do media wise. You can sign up for it too. Or it was earlier in the season, or earlier when we're talking.
I don't think it's going to be flooded.
I'm just going to show up.
People, just go. You're off by then. Your shift's over by then. Just go to that place. Take care of it.
Just like Fleming.
Anyway, so that's where they'll be tonight.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Wes and Steve.
Big soccer guys.
Huge soccer guys.
They love the round ball.
Big soccer guys. Am I lying? Or did they decide that the MLS Cup, all right, the nothing major about Major League Soccer Cup, did they decide that on field goals? Did they play for like 90 or like 120 minutes and then decide it with free throws? Yes. Are you got to be freaking kidding me?
3-0.
When's the next season start? They had plenty of time between now and the next season. June?
Technically starts.
May? April, May? They had months. What was the rush? Okay? You had plenty of time. You got a lot of time to rest. Here's the other thing about that. Here's what's asinine about it, among other things. They had the
February 26th.
They had the first overtime, and then they had the second overtime. It was still 3-3, I think, or 2-2, whatever it was. They had the second overtime, and then the one team scored, and then they keep playing. And then the other team scored right at the end of the second overtime. If you want to end it playing the game instead of doing, they ended it with penalty kicks, which is 10 yards away, right in front of a goalie. And then the guy that was the MVP of the game was a guy that they brought in for the injured goalie, and he made 2 saves, and he was the most valuable player of a 120-minute game he played 90 seconds of. All right, but having said that, the simple answer is this, Grizz. Okay? Sudden death. After 90 minutes.
Oh, golden goal?
Sudden No, not golden goal. Sudden death. Golden goal. It's not the Golden Girls. Golden goal. That's what they call it over here. Oh, let's go golden goal. No. Sudden death.
Golden
you know
goal.
What I mean?
You can't use sudden death. You can't use death. This is a nice world we live in now.
This isn't extra innings and golden goal. Listen, in this country, we play.
Terry Bradshaw got ridiculed for what he said last week.
Sudden death. What did Terry Bradshaw say? I didn't even
know. He was talking about a team. I
I
can't remember which team he was talking about. And he was talking about a player, and he was talking about somebody committing suicide or something like that.
Well, you don't want to talk. We're not talking about suicide.
And it
It's
just
sudden
went.
death.
Everybody was like, "Whoa!"
The bottom line is sudden death. You play for 90 minutes. And then you play sudden death.
Yes.
Until somebody scores a goal, and then it ends. Because what they did, for those of you that are uneducated on this, they played a 15-minute overtime. Then they played another 15-minute overtime. And then they play these overtimes, and if they play the whole overtime, no matter how many scores there are. So then they're still tied at the end of overtime. Stop me anytime and tell me I'm lying. They played a whole overtime. They're still tied. And then they go to field goals to determine the game. All right, let's put the ball on the 10-yard line. We'll start kicking field goals. What the hell are you doing?
I would be okay with if they did it like all the other sports where they put the teams in the playoffs and you play like a 3-game set or 3-game series.
No, that's not good either.
No.
The
The
highest score?
No. Yeah, well, like a 3-game series, right? And then you obviously get 2 at home, 1 away. And literally, if you win on the goal aggregate, like if you have more goals away... If you score more goals away and you have more goals at the end of the 3rd game, if it goes to a 3rd game, it comes down to your more away goals. But if you take them 2-0, it doesn't matter.
I understand it, but why aggregate goal? It's a whole different game. It's like, well, wait a minute.
It's better than going to PKs.
What's better than PKs is sudden death. I mean,
Golden goal.
You go with this 3-game aggregate. I mean, what the hell is that?
More money.
Me by 1.
Playoffs, more money.
I beat you by
3
2,
games.
and you beat me by 1, so I win because I beat you by more than you beat me.
But I had 2 away. I had 2 goals away. I had 2 goals at your place, and I'm away.
Here's an idea.
Makes sense.
Okay, you played a championship game. If the championship game is tied at the end of regulation, you then go to sudden death. And then the next goal wins. Period. End of story. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. You know what else is crazy? Is that Jim Irsay doesn't think that we're on to him, that they're not tanking for one of the quarterbacks. Jim Irsay is all ticked off because people are saying that, you know what, the Colts are tanking because there's a pretty good quarterback draft coming up. And the Colts are at, what, 3... They're 3-5-1 or something like that right now. Irsay said to the suggestion that he was tanking, he said, that's the most absurd thing I've ever heard, that we're taking. That's BS. And he said the whole word. That's BS. We're in this thing. 9-7-1 will get us in. No question about it. We're not tanking the season. Whoever says those things, we're not playing Matt Ryan because we're tanking. That's BS. That's not true. We're going to do what it takes to win. I don't know who people think we are. They don't know us. We don't tank in Indianapolis, close quote. What that means is they're tanking. Because as Mike Florio said, the first rule of Tank Club is that you don't talk about Tank Club. They're tanking.
I can't respect the Colts. They booed Andrew Luck when he got hurt. I just can't. The fan base, the team, the ownership, I can't take the Colts seriously.
Do you hear what Florio said? So the Colts have to go 6-2 down the stretch to get to 9-7-1. Florio said that if they go 6-2 down the stretch, he will donate $10,000 to the charity of Jim Irsay's choice.
Perfect.
How about that? $10,000 he goes, if they go 6-2 to finish 9-7-1. By the way, 9-7-1 is not a guarantee you're going to probably get in at 9-7-1. He says he'll donate $10,000. And one other note. The National Football Conference, the NFC Offensive Player of the Week was Justin Fields. I mean, how much do they want this guy to be a star? They lost Justin Fields threw for 123 yards. He was 17 of 28. He threw for 123 yards and 3 short touchdown passes. He ran for 178 yards. Okay? Threw for 123 yards, ran for 178 yards, and lost the game. And he was the player of the week. Geno Smith was 26 of 32, which is like 75%. 275 yards, 2 touchdowns, ran for 38 more yards in a 10-point win. And Justin Fields is the player of the week in the NFC. Get the hell out of here. All right, we got to get a break. We'll come back and wrap it up next. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Have you been to an Iron Bowl? Even if you have, you haven't experienced the ultimate Iron Bowl tailgate experience, and it could be yours. How? Head to Baumhauer's Victory Grill every week to sign up to win. We'll also draw weekly winners that will win a lunch bunch from Baumhauer's Victory Grill. So what should you do? Go to Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Sign up for the ultimate Iron Bowl tailgate experience. Listen to The Drive each Thursday, and Wes and Steve will draw a weekly winner. The ultimate Iron Bowl tailgate experience, presented by Baumhauer's Victory Grill.
AVIQ. Who is AVIQ? AVIQ is audiovisual the intelligent way, where we put our IQ to work for your AV needs. With more than 100 years combined experience in audio, video, and automation, our team of experts is dedicated to one thing: helping you discover technological solutions that make your home special. Once you experience a game or a movie on one of our state-of-the-art home theater systems, you may never leave the house again. AVIQ can build the entire system for you or provide the quality components if you're a do-it-yourselfer. But AVIQ is more than just home theater and state-of-the-art sound systems. We offer a variety of control options for home technology. Energy efficiency, heightened security, and improved quality of life are all attainable through the automation of home systems. Intuitive and user-friendly control is our main priority in designing a system that meets your needs. Don't just take our word for it. You need to see it to believe it. Come visit us at our state-of-the-art showroom on University, just east of Jim and Nick's, across from AT&T, or visit aviqhsv.com.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, "If you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself."
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Hey there, folks. Bob Baumhauer here. We're celebrating 40 legendary years here at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. And to kick this off, we're coming in hot with our all-new Alabama hot chicken. Fresh southern fried chicken breast smothered in a blend of tangy, immune-boosting herbs and spices with a spicy finish. Served up with a side of homemade smoked Gouda cheese grits, Miss Mary southern greens, and garlic bread. And there's plenty more where that came from. Stop in today and celebrate with us. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
You've got to experience Toyota.